Hello traders and welcome back to another weekly watch list video. The market is clearly leaning towards the bearish side, and this week British economy shocked the market as the pound falls to an all-time low compared to the dollar. Now they started buying the bonds to prevent an economic meltdown, and it is kind of alarming, but it shows that there is something big going on behind the scene, and the most of these major countries and their banks are working together to resolve the situation. Now this is just the beginning and there is more pain to come, so buckle up and let's get started with this week's watch list. Starting with the Nasdaq. Now Nasdaq is within its support zone between 11,272 to 10,929. There is a high probability that Nasdaq will linger within this range for a while before picking up the direction. If Nasdaq loses 11,000, which is it very close at, then the strong downward momentum will bring it down to 10,668. Moving on to S&P 500. S&P 500 is a bit more bearish than the Nasdaq and showing the strong momentum towards the downside. If it breaks this 3600, then the next level to watch for is 3522 followed by 3393. If we retest this 3393 by the end of this month, then there is a high probability that we might see 3000 level by the end of this year. Moving on to dollar. Falling pound and other factors won't let go dollar below 110. Now it retests this 100 and level once again, jump back up to almost 112, and now it's hovering between 112 and this 111 level, so probably there is a high probability that it might push even higher towards 113 before coming down below 110. Moving on to VIX. VIX is consolidating within this range of 3282 to 2931, so probably it will stay like this for a while, and it will probably give that choppy market or the sideways market for a while. Moving on to Apple. Now Apple is retesting its previous support level between 140 and 138. Apple might consolidate within that short range for a while before taking another leg up or down, because it dropped massively within this short period of time, so there is a high probability that it might bounce back up to 142, 143 before coming down to retest 134.72 followed by 132.11 and ultimately 129.21, where it will retest its previous low. ABBV dropped balls on the Friday, tumbling down from 140 to 134. Momentum is so strong that it might break through this support zone of 138 to 134. Now if that happens, then the next level to watch for is 128.21. if it couldn't hold that level, then the next level to watch for is 121.50. between 128.21 and 121.50 there is not enough price action or the price involved. As you see here, it's a straightforward up move, so if it breaks below this level, then it will quickly come down to retest this level. Moving on to AMD. After a heavy sell-off, AMD is coming close to retest its all-time support at 5808. This might push it back to retest at least 65 followed by the 73 in the best case scenario, but the time is passing by and it's becoming more evident that it will eventually drop below 60 and stayed within this 50 range for a while. Moving on to Amazon. Now Amazon is staying between the range of 117 to 113, but if it couldn't hold this range, then the next level to watch for is 110 followed by the 106, and ultimately it will retest its $100 level or the all-time low around like 101.52. Moving on to Caterpillar. Caterpillar is looking very interesting. It broke below 167 and it's lingering close to that level, so the next level to watch for is 158.31 followed by the 148.85. it couldn't hold that level. Next one is Coinbase is consolidating close to its all-time low price at 51.47. It is at the middle of this job zone or this tight price range between 73.60 to 51.47. So it can push as high as 73.60, otherwise it will retest this 51.47 as market keeps going down. Next one is FedEx. After disastrous earning, FedEx recovered a little bit, kind of like a dead cat bounce, retest this 155.85, got a rejection, and now it's coming down towards 148. So there is a high probability that it will remain within this range of 155.85 to 143.17. If it couldn't hold that level, then the next level to watch for is 138.85. Next one is Fortinet. Fortinet is hanging close to its weak support at 47.79, which is not looking very promising. If it couldn't bounce up from there, then it will push beyond this 47.79, coming down to retest this 42.01, as there is a very less volume involved within this price move from 42.01 to 47.79. So if it breaks below it, watch for the retest of 42.01. Moving on to Goldman Sachs. In this rising inflation environment, the banking sector is the only sector that performed worse than any other sector, and Goldman Sachs earnings are coming up on October 18th. Right now it's at 293.11, so there is a high probability that before earning it will drop to 279.16, where it will retest its previous support level, bouncing back up probably close to 300 just right before the earnings. Eli Lilly, watch for the gap fill between 322.6 at 340.75. This upper range of this gap fill might act as a support, and it might give us a short bounce retesting 324.47, and if we get a rally in the market, probably 332.79. otherwise it will come back down, fill this gap close to 317.98 halfway through the gap fill, and make a move to retest 322.46 or the upper edge of this gap fill before making any significant move towards the either up or the downside. Moving on to Meta is in the channel of this megaphone, following it pretty nicely. It is very close to this 132.24 support. Now if it loses that, then the next level to watch for is 122 and followed by the 114.92. but ultimately it looks like Facebook or Meta is going to come down to between 100 to 110 level. Next one is Microsoft. Like Apple, Microsoft is losing its ground bit by bit. It's not making any strong moves as of now, but it is hanging close to its support at 231.22. If it loses that, next level to watch for is 225.27 followed by the 219.41. Next one is Nike. Nike dropped after the earnings in a typical gap down fashion, so it has this gap to fill between 93.90 to 86.59. so I'm expecting a dead cat bounce and to retest the lower range of this gap fill around 86.59 followed by the rejection, bringing it down to retest 80.37. Moving on to NVDA. It is hard to believe that the blue chip company like NVDA can fall this far. If it loses the 120 level, then the next target to watch for is 116.44 followed by the 108.34. but it looks like our market wants NVIDIA to hang within the 90s range, and probably that will happen with the constant downward pressure by the end of this year. Moving on to Target. Now the Target missed its earning, which incurs more sell-off, pushing its price down to 148.47. It is hanging close to its support at 143.56, so expect a retest of this support followed by a short bounce to 148.28, and then probably it will get a rejection from that level, bringing it down to 137.72. Next one is Tesla. Tesla couldn't break above 312, and it did that efforts 3 times, giving us this triple top formation, and now it's coming down. It's broke through its small support zone between 275.65 to 266.81, and now there is a high probability that it will retest this 253.48 level as a support, followed by a bounce back towards the upside around like 267.2. 168. And the last but not least is Visa. Visa is nosediving to 168.71, followed by this constant or the strong momentum towards downside, and there is nothing in between. Like the momentum is so strong, and a weaker financial sector will bring it down to 168.71. so watch that right before the earnings. Probably it will retest and bounce back towards 187 just right before the earnings come out. So there you go guys, another video wrapped up. I kept it short, provided some key support and resistance level for these stocks. If you like the information presented in this video, then please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next week.